Howdy, y'all. I'm Claire, and this is Tales from the Tavern. Pull up a chair, grab a drink, and get comfortable by the hearth. Every time you stop by, I've got another tale to share. Some stories are my own, some have been passed on by others. From tales of fantasy to science fiction and everything in between. So, settle in, keep your mug close, and let's see what tonight's tale is. This is Tales from the Tavern. All right, black cats, gather round. I've got a story for y'all tonight. And this time, it's not a scary one, so you babies can unclench your mugs. This one's a story about an empty chair. So, there I was in Coram. I'd just finished dealing with a group of bandits that had been causing trouble nearby, and I'd decided I'd earned myself a hot meal, maybe a few drinks, and an actual bed before heading back out the next morning. There's always someone who needs help, you know? Anyway, I head to the local tavern, order myself some food and drink at the bar, and start looking for somewhere to sit while I wait. But the place is pretty busy. I spot a table with only one person sitting at it. This grandfatherly old fellow I later came to know as Joe. Four chairs, one old man, so plenty of room. Naturally, I walk over and give him a friendly nod and start pulling out the chair across from him. That's when Joe perks up from whatever thoughts he'd been nursing along with his mug. Sorry, little miss. Do you mind taking one of the other chairs? He asks. I stop and look between Joe and the three empty chairs before I shrug and move for one of the other two. Joe nods his thanks and I settle in. The food and drink come, and in about 5 minutes, I've made fast friends with Joe. I don't remember if I asked or he offered, but he starts sharing his life story with me. I've noticed older people like to do that. Maybe that's why we talk a lot? Anyways, turns out Joe used to be an adventurer. Like me. Like us. A damn good one, too, apparently. He tells me about fighting trolls in the mountains, hunting monsters through swamps, delving into ruins everyone with good sense knew to stay out of. But he never did any of it alone. There was another man, Emmerich. Every story Joe tells me has Emmerich somewhere in it. Emmerich is the one who convinced him to become an adventurer in the first place. Emmerich pulled him out of a troll's mouth once. Joe saved Emmerich from marrying a woman in Westervale. Though, according to Joe, Emmerich still maintains the troll was the less dangerous situation. They adventured together for almost 20 years, he said. Gods, 20 years. And the whole time Joe's telling me these stories, I start noticing something. Every once in a while, he looks at that empty chair. Eventually, I can't help myself. So, Emmerich's? I ask. Joe just smiles. Yeah. He taps the table beside the empty seat. That's his. Now, I'm not completely oblivious. The adventurer life, you know, old age, the empty chair. I figure I knew how this story ends. Tell him I'm sorry. But Joe just looks confused. For what? Emmerich? He asked. Your friend? What about him? I glance pointedly at the chair, and Joe follows my eyes. The old bastard starts laughing. No, no, girl. Emmerich ain't dead. Used to ask the obvious question. Then where is he? So, Joe told me a long time ago, he and Emmerich had taken a job with a few other adventurers. Something had been coming through an old ruin outside the city. Creatures nobody recognized. Things that just don't belong in our world. Deep inside that ruin, they found out why. There was this doorway, but not the sort you open with a handle. More like a tear between our world and somewhere else. They managed to close it, but at a price. Something on the other side was keeping it open. Someone had to break it the other side. Nemric didn't even give them time to argue. He shoved Joe back through and closed the doorway behind him. That was 32 years ago. Nobody's seen Emmerich since. The others eventually stopped looking, and the scholars called him lost. The guild put his name among their honored dead. There's even a little plaque somewhere commemorating his heroic sacrifice. Joe hates that plaque. So, I nod towards the chair. You really think he's still alive? Joe just stares into his mug for a moment and then shrugs. I saw him stay behind. I never saw him die. He takes a drink, and I don't really know what to say to that. He leaned back and looked at the empty chair. We spent 20 years getting ourselves into places everyone said there was no getting out of. And a smile creeps across his face. Would be pretty damn insulting to start doubting him now. God, that touches my heart and makes me want to cry beautiful tears. I hope there's someone out there who'd saved my seat for 32 years. So, you keep this chair open? I asked. Every time I'm here. For 32 years. After 32 years. And look at the empty chair again. You ever wonder how long you're gonna keep doing that? Joe didn't answer right away. He reached over, poured himself another mug from the pitcher, smiled. Till he gets back. Maybe Emmerich died 32 years ago in some place whose name nobody even knows. Maybe Joe knows that too, somewhere deep down. That's not really the point, is it? For 20 years, those two fought beside each other, saved each other, trusted each other. And when everyone else decided Emmerich's story was over, Joe saved him a seat, just in case. So, if you ever find yourself passing through Coram, there's an old tavern near the center of town. And if you're lucky, you might find Joe sitting there with a drink. There'll probably be an empty chair across from him. Don't sit in it. That one's taken. That was the empty chair. If you enjoyed tonight's tale, I'd love it if you dropped a like and subscribe so you don't miss next week's installment of Tales from the Tavern. If you have a story you'd like me to read, let me know in the comments, or leave the comment, "That seat is taken," to let me know you reached the end of the video. Until next time, travel safe, keep the hearth warm, and remember, there's always room at the table for one more.